Hey, good morning, students, and welcome. Uh, already we have started with our seventh lesson, which is decolonization to political integration of India. In the last lecture, student, we have discussed about the decolonization process, what is mean by decolonization, as well as we have seen decolonization of Junagadh, Hyderabad, and Jammu and Kashmir. So now in this lecture we are going to move towards the next decolonization process of India. But moving further, I want to just remind one more time what is mean by this decolonization. Okay, so what is decolonization? When the Europeans they came, they established their colonies in India, they started to rule on India, so it was called as colonization. Okay, so after independence era, means after 1947, it was necessity to remove their power, to remove this colonial rule and to establish political as well as administrative dominance of local people. So it was a time when this power should be given to local people, and this process is called as decolonization. In the last lecture we have discussed about the decolonization of princely state like Junagadh, which was in Gujarat. Then we talk about Hyderabad decolonization, and then Jammu and Kashmir, which is very important as well as sensitive part of India. Still we can see there are so many problems when we discuss this matter. So when decolonization happened after 1947 in Jammu and Kashmir, so some of the people they wish to merge in Pakistan, some of the people they wish to merge in India, and from that partition we got of India, and some of the part of India, it was called as Pakistan, which was the new and separate country. Now today we are going to move towards the next part of India, which was decolonized, and that part is Dadar and Nagar Haveli. So student, here in this map you can see that Dadar and Nagar Haveli. So Dadar and Nagar Haveli, it was the annexation of the Dadar and Nagar Haveli, means taking over of Dadar and Nagar Haveli. It was the conflict in the territories of Dadar and Nagar Haveli passed from Portuguese rule to Indian rule in Indian 1954. So Dadar and Nagar Haveli, it were a small Portuguese overseas territories, part of Portuguese India from 1779 until 1954. So student, Dadar and Nagar Haveli, in the map you can see that it is located in the Gujarat interior parts of Gujarat coast. It is on the northern banks of the river Daman-Ganga. It was a part of the Portuguese dominion, and it was administered by Portuguese governor. So after independence, it was thought that the Portuguese they are going to hand over this part to India, and they are going to be quit. They are just going to move from India, but it didn't happen. They didn't do this, and therefore the local people of Dadar and Nagar Haveli they became angry, and they rose their voice against Portuguese. The organization, which was namely United Front Gons, Azad Gomantak Dal, and all this organization they came together and they planned campaign to free this region. Okay students, so many organizations were there and who wish to free this area from the Portuguese rule. So that time the organizations like the Azad Gomantak Dal the organization like United Front Gons, all they came together and they planned for the next procedure. So that time in 1954, Francis Massacre Hans, Vimal Sardesai, these people, they were the leaders of Azad Gomantak Dal, and they intensified the struggle. So the Protestants people, they captured Nagar Haveli. The people, they were fierce, they were angry, they came together, they fight for their region, and they protest in this region. One more organization, the other organization which name was United Front of Gons, it took hold of Dadra. Rashtrapati Mukti Sena, which was a branch of Azad Gomantak Dal, it took hold of Dadra, Narori, Pimparia and some part of Silvassa. So student, when the campaign started, so that time local police station as well as the administrative offices, they were attacked by the local people. Portuguese army had to beat a retreat, and that's why the Portuguese, one of the captain whose name was Fidalgo, he surrendered finally. So the government of India, he appointed KG Badlani to bring normalcy in administration in this area. So one agreement was done in that period. So according to that agreement, the Indian government, the region of Dadar and Nagar Haveli, it was merged in India. So on 2nd August 1954, finally Dadar and Nagar Haveli, this area, it was merged into India. So many leaders we could see in this plan, in this campaign, like Vishwanath Lavande, Rajabhau, Wakankar, Sudhir Phadke, Nana Saheb Kazrekar, Neelu Bhau, Nimay, Vasant Zanjale, and many other participants were there who fought in this struggle. 1961, finally Dadar and Nagar Haveli, it became the Union Territories part of India. Student, next decolonization is of Goa. Before move towards the next, that is Goa, we have to remind when the Europeans, they came and they got settled on Goa land. Okay, so if you remember that we had discussed that Vasco da Gama, he was the first European who came in Goa, and he came 7 July 1497. So that time, from that day, the Portuguese slowly they conquered the region of Goa, and they started to make their empire. So during this 500 years, the Portuguese, they ruled on India, and they made attempt that the local people of Goa, they should forget their traditions, rituals. They bought complete economic, what we can say, the renation for Goa, means they just conquered the land, they established their empire over there, and after independence also they were not ready to they were not ready to leave Goa. Okay, and before independence only, means in pre-independence period only, Goa's decolonization, this process was started. So student, here you can open your page number 59. We are on the page number 59, and here we are talking about the decolonization of Goa. So decolonization process of Goa, it was already started in pre-independence time. In 1928, Goa Congress Committee, it was founded, which was founded in Mumbai. Dr. T.B. Kunna, he was the president of this committee. So, what is the aim of this committee? The aim of this committee was to quit India movement. Okay, so they force Portuguese to quit India, especially to quit Goa. This movement in rest of the country, it was asked the Portuguese to leave the shores of Goa, Daman and Diu, which were the coastal part of India. Thus started the fight to free Goa from the rule of the Portuguese. In 1929, Goa Congress Committee, it became the main branch. It became the main branch of Indian National Congress. Student, annexation of Goa means to taking over of Goa. It was a process in which the Republic of India annexed the former Portuguese Indian territories of Goa, Daman and Diu. Starting with the armed action carried out by the Indian Armed Forces in December 1961. So this moment, it was also called as Liberation of Goa. In Portugal, it was referred as Invasion of Goa. On 8 June 1962, the military rule, it was replaced by civilian government when the lieutenant governor nominated on informal consultative council of 29 nominated members to assist him in the administrations of the territory. Students, in 1939, the posters with the Quit India, um, Leave Goa, Quit Goa, the slogans were posted all over the Goa. Francis Massacan Hans, he was the president of United Goa and who unfurled the Indian flag in Goa first time. In 1946, under the leadership of Dr. Ram Mohan Lohia, the movement of civil disobedience, he launched in Goa. Dr. Lohia, he was arrested and he was sent from Goa. Dr. T.B. Kunna, here you can see the picture, Dr. T.B. Kunna as well as the Purushottam Kakodkar, Dr. Ram Hedge, Dr. P.P. Shirodkar and Gopal Mayekar, all these leaders, they were arrested for participating in Satyagraha of Madgaon. Dr. Kunna, he was imprisoned for 8 years by the Portuguese government. He was sent to the prison in Portugal. So he got punishment of 8 years, and not only that, but he was sent to Portugal for the imprisonment. Later, after returning to India, he started publishing two newspapers, uh, which names were Azad Goa and Swatantra Goa. So these two newspapers, after returning from his imprisonment, he started in Goa. Now student, this was the period that when the local people, they decided to uh, to remove this Portuguese from the land of Goa. Okay, so after independence in India, the movement for liberating Goa, it took roots in Maharashtra also. The people from Maharashtra, they also enter in this campaign, they also enter in this movement. 1954, the Goa Vimochan Sahayak Samiti, it was founded at Pune. Keshavrao Jethe, as well as the N.G. Gore and Jayantrao Tilak, all these three people, they took the responsibility for this Samiti. Some groups who volunteer for the cause of Goa's liberation, they marched to Goa under the leadership of N.G. Gore and Senapati Bapat. One group of those volunteers, they unfurled the Indian flags of India on the fort of Panji. So liberation movement of Goa, it became very energetic, we can say. It was a sparkling movement which sought to end the Portuguese colonial in Goa, in India. The movement is built on the small scale revolt when the moment it was started, so that time only few peoples were involved in this campaign, but after some time, after some period, nearly in 19th century, it became powerful in the period of 1940 to 1961. Okay, now this movement it was conducted both inside and outside of Goa, and all the people from different part of India, they came together, they took part for this campaign. So student, this movement actually it started from Madgaon. In 18 June 1946, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, he started with this movement, liberalization of Goa movement. This movement was started from the Madgaon, and several satyagrahis, they laid their lives. Thousands of the people, local people, they went to jail for this movement. There were number of the other leaders who participated in Goa liberation movement. It included the people like Pandit Mahadev Rao Shastri Joshi, Shirubhau Limay, Peter Alvarez and Sudha Joshi. Student, when we learn about the liberation movement of Goa, so especially one name I want to take, and that is Mohan Ranade. Mohan Ranade, he was a person who was born on 25th December 1930 in Sangli, in Maharashtra. Okay, so he was inspired by the revolutionaries like Ganesh Damodar Savarkar, Vinayak Damodar Savarkar. Ranade, he joined the militant organization Azad Gomantak Dal in 1953. So, as the member of the organization, he was involved in the liberations of Silvassa in 1954. Now, when he went to Goa, so that time he got job of teacher, and that time he used to take classes on Saturday, and he used to conduct the student meetings to inculcate the sense of Indian nationalism and a desire for the liberation for the colonial rule in them. So Ranade, he also participated in number of attacks which happened in liberation of Goa movement. That was the police attack, it was the custom outpost, mines to obtain weapon, as well as the explosive for his organization. This person, he was also participated in the murder of Goa man who had insulted the tricolor flag of India, and that's why this person is very important in this movement. In October 1955, during an attack on Betiam police, he was wounded by the Portuguese police. So after recovering from his injuries, he was tried and sentenced in December 1956 to 76 years of imprisonment to be served in Portugal. So student, he was a person whose role is very significant in this movement. He systematically began anti-Portuguese propaganda. Anti-Portuguese propaganda. Propaganda means politics. Anti-Portuguese means which is in opposed of Portuguese. So with the help of Azad Gomantak Dal, he also started armed struggle against the Portuguese. During an attack on police station, he was shot, and I told you that he was injured, and Portuguese government kept him in jail till 1972. Acharya P.K. Atre, he used the Delhi newspaper Maratha published by him as the platform for supporting this movement. Now student, next main important part of this decolonization is Operation Vijay. So Operation Vijay, it is a code name, we can say it is code name for the armed action. Vijay means victory. Okay, so it was by the Indian Armed Forces. It involved the air, sea and the land strikes for over 36 hours, and it was a decisive victory. It was a great victory for India, ending near about 451 years ruled by Portugal over its remaining and enclaves in India. So the engagement lasted 2 days, and 22 Indians and the 30 Portuguese, they were killed in this fighting. The brief conflict drew a mixture of worldwide praise. The Indians, they got praise, condemnations. In India, the action, it was seen as the liberation of historically Indian territory, while Portugal, they view this action as an aggression against the national soil and citizen. So Operation Vijay, it was planned mission. Indian Army, they descended in Goa. They entered in Goa. They took the help of the local civilians. They showed the army the places where the Portuguese, they had planted their landmines, and the Portuguese, they surrender in this Vijay in near about 48 hours. So on 19 December 1961, Goa, it became the part of Indian Republic, and the foreign rule of near about 450 years, it came to an end. So this was the history for the decolonization of Goa. Okay, so I hope that you must have understood the decolonization of Dadar and Nagar Haveli as well as Goa. So student, after this video, I'll give you one link which is related to this part, so you just see that, so you will come to know in better way what is the Operation Vijay, Operation Victory. Okay, so today we are going to stop here. If you have any query, any doubt, you can write in comment box, you can drop in comment box. Next part, which is very little bit part, now only the decolonization of Puducherry, which is also known as Pondicherry, that is remaining. So in the next lecture we are going to finish with this part, and then we'll finish the 7th lesson also. Okay, so have a nice day and bye.